on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a comparison review of the God Killer kvegaskickz All-Star 2.0 versus the GX. We'll see which one looks better, which one you ought to get, and yeah, we'll go from there. So before we get into them, I want to remind you this video and all the other content on my channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you're new, go ahead and like and subscribe. I appreciate that. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at kvegaskickz. Guys, I'm very thankful for all your support. So we're going to dive right in this review. I have reviewed both of these individually. Again, this is the God Killer and the GX batch of the shoe. So if you want to see individual unboxings, you can check those out in my channel list. Today, we're just going to be doing a comparison. I've also done the S2 batch, but I don't really feel like the S2 is up to par to be included in this right now, just because of some aesthetic challenges that S2 always seems to have with their kvegaskickz. I think these are the top two. So anyway, we're going to start right here at the front. I think right away you can see there's a little bit difference in the shading with the gradient fade. I think the GX is a little bit more uniform with its gradient, whereas the God Killer does have a little bit darker fade. A little bit harder to see on camera, but it's certainly, if you looked at these lower stars, how dark it is versus that, not quite as dark. And again, it's something you almost need to see them side by side. It's not going to show up very well on camera, but just suffice to say, the gradient is a little bit better on the God Killer. Also, you can see the overall height of this toe box much bulkier on the GK, or excuse me, the GX. I'm probably going to do that a lot in this video, so just bear with me. More bulky on the GX. We'll take a look at them from this angle. You can see, okay, there's your toe box for the GX versus the God Killer. Again, much more sleek versus each other. These are both men's 13, so it doesn't have anything to do with size or anything like that. So that's that. Now, as far moving up, looking at our laces, you do have a little bit more space here with the God Killer. This little notch between your first lace hole and this little curve versus your GX, it's closer. Not a big difference, but there is a difference. The GX laces are also thinner as far as this way, and I'm not talking about the thickness, but like the width, I guess is what I should say, of the laces. The God Killer is also the only one that comes with the extra laces. So with the God Killer, you get the black and the sail. If you want those options, the GX and the S2 only came with the laces that you see in the shoes. Moving up the tongue, they both have the same material on the tongue. However, the print is different. Again, these both men's 13. The GX has a smaller, much smaller pattern of the scales, whereas the God Killer, on this one at least, you get big scales on the tongue. Your Shizukus are both pretty similar. I think the God Killer gets the spacing a little bit better. It's a more tight spacing between the black lines and the white, and then the overall spacing of the Shizuku itself, as far as how much room the Shizuku takes on the tongue. Another big thing is your shape of the tongue. The GX, while it does have a little spiral going to it, it's not super tight when you look at the God Killer. That spiral is really tight, got a nice curve to it. That is not the laces or anything like that holding it in place. That's just the shape of the tongue. Same thing with the shape here at the ankle collar. God Killer much more sleek as opposed to the GX. Okay, I think you can see that. Now, both of these shoes have been on foot but they have not been played in, so they're not like stretched out or anything like that. That's just how they were. So I don't want you to think, that happened from where. That's just the shape of the shoe. Another thing with the God Killer, of course, you do get an overspray effect on the swoosh. You can see that kind of like, I hate to say sloppy, but that's about what it is, an overspray effect on the swoosh, which is correct. Whereas the GX, it's a much more clearly defined line. So the God Killer gets that a little bit better as well. Back of the shoes, that sleek shape kind of continues for the God Killer, which is on this side now. I think you can see it has that nice tapered design going up to your Achilles, whereas the GX is a little bit wider. You can certainly see it if you look at it like from this angle, going up, that nice taper versus that. The heel counter is also higher on the God Killer versus the GX. Signatures slightly different, pretty similar, but there is a little bit of difference you can kind of see side by side. Same thing with the overall shade. The sail is a little bit different on the God Killer versus the GX, and the outsole is a little bit different shade. Another thing with our outsole, the God Killer has that new 3.0 design where they fixed the heel traction pattern in your larger sizes. So again, these are men's size 13, so it should look like this, not like this. So God Killer, again, gets that right. Shizuku's both look good. You do have real carbon fiber. You do have that top-loaded Zoom turbo unit in both of them, so that's good. I will say that the GX compared to the old God Killer felt better on foot out of the box as far as the stiffness of that Zoom turbo unit. I always thought that God Killer took a little bit of time, not much mind you, but some time to break in. However, with the 3.0 update, I feel like these are really good right out of the box. They're not nearly as stiff feeling, and when I say the update, that's for the God Killer. It feels better out of the box now, so that's not really an issue. The God Killer also fits me true to size. I'm a men's 13. The GX, in my opinion, slightly snug, fits me like maybe like a 12 and a half, 12 and 3/4. I hate to be nitpicky, but when I'm comparing the two, the GX, I almost wish I could go to a 13 and a half, but they don't make that. I have to go up to a full 14, and that would be slightly too big. So for me, again, personally, that's all I can tell you is my personal experience. The God Killer just fits me a little bit better as far as overall length of the shoes. Fits me more closely to my retail Kobe 6s, let's put it that way. So your scale lining is on both shoes is done pretty well. Very low here at the front on the GX, and back towards the swoosh is pretty good as well. That is one area they may have done a little bit better than God Killer. It's pretty low right here, slightly higher, 1 millimeter or 2 underneath the swoosh. Not high enough though that I would make an issue out of it. I think God Killer has more overall better qualities to still give them the edge versus the GX. I just think it's a better, more sleek, just better designed shoe overall. So I think that was all I really wanted to cover with the shoes. Let's check out the scale lining on the medial side of both of them. Again, that's pretty similar. Yeah, that's it. And we already saw the extra laces. Let's set these over to the side. I do want to show you the boxes because there is slight differences there. The God Killer, you're going to get the matted out box. It does have the scale pattern, but it's matted out with the gloss signature and the Shizuku. Of course, a swoosh, your branding, everything you'd expect. Box label, and then of course inside is just regular tissue paper. However, the GX box, for whatever reason, is super glossy. You do get the scale pattern, but you can see it's glossed all over, not just the signature and logo. Just all the way around, box is super glossy. The box is also slightly smaller on the GX as far as overall length. Not a big deal, but just something I'm trying to point out with any differences. So I think that's about all I needed to cover, guys. I have not played in either of these, so I cannot give you a performance in this particular colorway. However, just comparing my previous experiences with these shoes for performance, they are both extremely good on the court. My only complaint with the GX is it does not quite fit me. It's a little bit too snug. I end up my toes hurting a little bit after playing in them in a size 13. I have tried a size 14 and it was slightly too big. I had to double up on my socks. So I just feel like the overall crown, in my opinion, still belongs to the God Killer batch. I'm not going to argue with you. If you prefer the GX, that's perfectly fine. They're both great versions. I just wanted to show you the two versions side by side, so I hope it helps. So anyway, that is my comparison review of this Kobe 6 All-Star 2.0 God Killer versus GX. I do hope that it was helpful for you and that you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these pairs in the comments. Be sure to follow me on my other socials and be on the lookout, guys. We got a lot more of these reviews coming your way.